Hey, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very warm welcome to the Nishkar Sharma Show. This is episode number 39, and today we have with us Aman Kumar from Winner Media. Now, first of all, before I introduce you, Aman, a very, very warm welcome to you. How are you doing, brother?
Thanks for the introduction, brother. I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And by the way, before we even get into the interview, Aman, thanks for being here. Thanks for being on the podcast. I'm sure this is going to be pretty good, and everyone listening to this is going to find a lot of value from this. So thank you so much for being
I'm
here.
sure. I'm sure. It's my pleasure to be on the podcast.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, for the ones who know Aman, great. For the ones who don't know Aman, let me just quickly give a formal introduction. So, first of all, I'll keep it informal. Aman's a dear friend. We've been very good friends since the last couple of years. We met during, I think it was the year 2012 or 13. Like that's no, 2014 or 15. Yeah,
14.
that's when we met. Yeah, through a network marketing company here in New Delhi. So my college was also very close to where Raman stays, and we did network marketing together. And then after a couple of years, we met again through an event that we met in. And then Aman got started with his e-commerce business. Aman's done more than $120,000 in sales in his e-commerce business. That's one. And when Aman started his e-commerce business on the side, he also co-founded Winner Media almost, I think, 2.5 years back. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aman. 2.5 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So almost 2.5 years back, Aman founded Winner Media. Now, Winner Media is a social media marketing agency wherein they serve personal brands, service-based businesses, product-based businesses, and they help them with their social media marketing. A very cool thing that you guys want to know is all our social media is managed by Winner Media as well. So my Instagram, even the podcast. So I'll tell you what's going to happen after this. After this podcast is done, the recordings are going to be shared with Aman's team, and they're going to be processing everything, uploading it, and all of that. So our Instagram, our YouTube, in a lot of cases, the ads that we run as well. All of this is handled by Winner Media. So Aman's been an integral part of our brand and me personally as well. A dear friend, one of my best buddies out there, and a really beautiful person, one of the best people I've ever met in my lives. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So Aman, thank you so much for being you. And again, like I said, I'm so excited to have you. We've been talking about this for such a long time. So how does it feel like? What do you think about this?
Thanks for this. It's really overwhelming when I'm hearing this introduction because most of our conversations are usually, a lot informal. But yeah, thanks for bringing me on this podcast, and I'm sure we'll be able to add a lot of value to people through this podcast.
Correct. Yeah. In fact, this podcast, I remember 9 months back when I told you about the podcast idea, and you were like, okay, let's do it. And since then, we've grown it so well together. So awesome. But yeah, regardless, ladies and gentlemen, in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about how to leverage Instagram, Instagram overall and Instagram influencers, and how to create brand equity, like Aman says it, for your e-commerce business. Like that's what this podcast is going to be about. Now, Aman's been in the Instagram space for a long time. Like my personal Instagram went from, I don't know, maybe 1,000 or 1,500 followers to currently we're at, I don't know, 35K plus, 37K maybe. And I'm not saying that we've just grown followers, but this is just a way that we're saying to quantify the success we've had, all organic, all, through content, different kinds of content. All of that has been done through Aman's guidance and his expertise. The same applies with the social media handle of Digital Tukandar. The same applies with Srijan, my business partner. The same applies with our YouTube, our podcast, everything. So Aman's a pro at this stuff, and Aman's Aman's done more than six figures in his e-commerce business. He understands in the Instagram influencer marketing side of the e-commerce business really well. And the couple of days back, I was like, Aman, we really want to be doing this. So this is the reason we're doing this, and trust me, you guys are gonna love it. Now, Aman, I'm sure you're going to understand this. You've run Facebook ads and you've seen all the issues that happen, ad account bans and all of that stuff. So, and a lot of people face that in the community. And then people are looking for more options and more opportunities to, find more traffic sources. How can they get sales? How can they get revenue and stuff? So what is your overall approach when it comes to the e-commerce business in terms of diversification or minimizing the risk involved, or Instagram or overall influencer marketing? What do you think about that?
So, like you said, traffic sources like Facebook ads or let's say Google ads, all these are the OG traffic sources when it comes to e-commerce, because these are the major traffic sources that drive sales for you. But in the past few months, past a couple of years, we've seen a lot of people facing ad ban issues. People just stuck with their e-commerce business, like maybe for a month, maybe for a couple of weeks, because their ad accounts were banned. And that raises the question on sustainability of a business. Now when we are in the process of building a business, I always prefer if we go towards building a brand, because like you mentioned, a long term brand equity always helps you, create a level of a trust with the customers, create a level of trust with the market, with the audience who are viewing you in a third person perspective, probably people who purchased from you, who've not purchased from you. And it also helps you diversify. No, now when you're positioned as a brand, it's not necessary that just Facebook ads will drive traffic for you. If you see brands like Zara, if you see brands like Amazon, we don't really buy from these brands because of the ads that we are saying. We are actually going to the stores. We're doing online buying as well from these brands, from H&M, from Zara. All of this because of the brand equity that they've built, the vision that they have for the brand, and the mission that they have for the brand, and that is where they position themselves as. So when it comes to diversification, obviously diversifications could be done in various forms. It could be Facebook ads, then Google ads, probably Pinterest marketing, Instagram marketing. But a collective picture of who you are as a brand helps your customers to build a long term connect with you. And these are just traffic sources, just like Instagram is a very underutilized traffic source when it comes to dropshipping and print on demand businesses, because a lot of people don't really see these businesses as a long term brand. They just see it as a, like, in my experience, a lot of people see it as a money making machine, that let's say I'll put in X amount of dollars, I'll get 4x amount of revenue, I'll have, let's say, a 20% profit share, and that is awesome. All of that is great and awesome until something goes wrong. Your Facebook ad account maybe disappears, maybe Facebook disappears, a traffic source, there's some hindrance with your current traffic source. All of that is great until that happens. So I personally think we should all be prepared for that, and rather build a brand than just run a business.
Yeah, rather build a brand than just build a business. Run a business. I'll write that down. Rather build a brand than just run. That's actually so true. So, when it comes to e-commerce businesses overall, how do you think that, people listening to this, because mostly people are going to be listening to this are either wanting to build e-commerce businesses, or they already have e-commerce businesses, and they want to level up. So, in terms of e-commerce, what kind of things do you think people can be doing? Like you mentioned, setting a vision. You mentioned having a mission or positioning yourself as a brand. Let's say specifically, let's talk about the t-shirt business, because that's a business that you've been into as well. So, how do you think that we could actually do all of this? I mean, what kind of things can we do?
Okay, so usually in this sort of a scenario, people really need to craft a brand story. When it comes to crafting a brand story, it becomes difficult for a lot of people, because people are always thinking their business from a goal perspective. That my goal is to reach to seven figures. My goal is to hit $1 million. But this is my goal. I'm not seeing things from the customer perspective. If I tend to see things from the customer perspective, or from the perspective of a 5 year goal that I have for my business, how I want my customers to see my business, what is that one USP I want my customers to know about my business, what is that one thing I want my business to be known for. When it comes to t-shirt businesses, is it something you want to go, is it something that you want to have a USP with, maybe the quality, maybe maybe the delivery time. Now since we are into dropshipping businesses, print on demand businesses, a lot of these things are not in our control, because logistics are completely out of our control in this sort of a scenario. Then things like the idea or the concept comes into the picture. What is your idea of selling? What is the concept of selling? What are the kind of designs that you're really selling? Those designs are the audience really able to connect with those designs? Do they have a real meaning to it? Because or is it just because of the design research, the things that you're seeing ki ye chal raha hai, so let's just sell this. So
Hmm.
you really need to keep that thing in mind. So like if I talk about brands like Amazon, the first thing that comes to my mind is uh, pretty great quality service. Like, when it's a quality service, be it in terms of the delivery time, be it in terms of handling returns, be it in terms of customer support, they value their customers. And that is what tells about a brand. So if you're running a print on demand or an e-commerce business, you know probably you can have a you can craft a vision that could be around, let's say you want people to wear what they think about.
Yeah.
You want people to wear, just playing with the emotion. Even if you don't have a mission and a vision in mind, sit down and think from the customer's perspective. Because a customer is, uh, lo- there are a lot of emotions that are going in the mind of a customer when they're scrolling Facebook, Instagram, all these social platforms. And most of our buying is impulse buying. And
Hmm.
that impulse triggers only and only if someone, something triggers to the customer. And
Yes.
for once, that one trigger could help you create a purchase. But then, going forward, brand awareness,
Hmm.
maybe ads like brand awareness, maybe things like, uh, maybe emailers, all those kind of things, nurture sequences, all those kind of things where you tell customers about your brand. You're not selling them right now. Probably they're your customers, but now you're introducing them to your brand. What you actually do, how, why do you sell? So there's this very great brand called Life is Good Company. it's
Yeah.
a it's a t-shirt brand only. Now, how they've positioned themselves as, they've positioned themselves as a brand that is all about optimism, about brand that is all about positivity. But they also have a mission with that. They say that, for every purchase people make, they probably set aside 10% of their profits for a social cause. Now that social cause could be anything. Like, they have a specific social cause. Now probably a lot of people would connect with that. A lot of people who are actually buying a product, they think that, we are promoting, we are helping hand in that social cause. So that is how you create a vision and a mission for your brand.
Hmm, that's very interesting. That's pretty insightful. So, you mentioned that we all should craft a brand story. That's right. So, if let's say a lot of times we will just start, any business just to make money. But now, and that's totally fine. A lot of, even we did, back then. But eventually you start realizing that it's a lot more than money. And if your only reason is money, then most probably when things are going to be tough and when you're not really going to be making a lot of money, most probably you're going to give up. So this happens. So one example of this could be, you could simply just have an about us page, as simple as an about us page on your website, and simply just share that who you are, who, where do you come from, what kind of values drive you, that what is it that you want to do, why are you doing this, or just think about it. Like you mentioned that helping people wear what they think, or another angle could be helping people express themselves better. Let's say if someone's running a t-shirt brand, they could simply say that, let's say someone's running a t-shirt brand for entrepreneurs. So it could be as simple as our t-shirts help entrepreneurs express themselves, or helping entrepreneurs proudly wear what they feel, anything of that sort. So that people start connecting with that message, people start connecting with that vision. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. And this one thing that you mentioned about seeing things from the customer's perspective, that's also really nice, because that's the last thing that we do. When you're running businesses, most people, when they're running businesses, what they do is all they care about is ads and numbers and profits. But then if you really want to be building a long-term business, you really want to ask yourself that, what would a customer want from me? Like, of course there's quality, there's delivery time, but what after that? Like you mentioned a very nice point that when we run ads, no, it's all impulse buying. People get to know about you. I mean, more than you, people like the design or people like the product you're selling, they buy from you. But if you really want them to recall you as a brand or come back to you as a brand, you'll actually have to give them that experience, to make them feel connected to you. Like when you were saying this, I had this idea, and I've never done this before. There's this new brand that we've started, you know about it. the men's apparel brand. Now, for brand awareness, what I'm thinking that we can do is we could actually just run brand awareness campaigns, retargeting people who've already purchased from us or who've clicked on add to cart and seen our ads, and talking about our story, like where do we come from, or we can just share with them the manufacturing that we have, photos of that, or let's say how we've been in the market for 20 years, or what drives us, things like those, just so that people can start relating to us, people can start feeling connected. That's pretty good. We've never done that, but yeah, thanks for that. That's pretty nice. And you give a very good example about Life is Good, Hana. So Life is Good is a t-shirt company. Most of their designs are about what anti-depression and happiness, life for being beautiful. So yeah, and they're killing it. And I think they're so big today because of this. These things that you had just mentioned. So yeah, that actually makes sense. Now, this also reminds me, Aman, that when it comes to this, when it comes to Instagram, the very first question that comes to the mind is, how do we really start building our presence on Instagram? A lot of times people are going to be like, okay, I will make posts, but then what kind of posts do I make? Do I just share my t-shirt images, or what do I share? So the first question is about what kind of content do we want to be creating, let's say if you're running an e-commerce business.
Okay, so first of all, there are only these two platforms that, apart from your website, there are only these two platforms that help the customers know more about your brand in just a single stance. One is Instagram, second is Pinterest, because both of them have a feed based system of content where when a person visits your Instagram page or your Pinterest websites, they have, you have something written in your bio, probably your vision, the things you believe in, more about your website, more about your products. Then you have a first set of 9 posts visible. So those 9 posts and the bio gives an overall impression to the person actually who you are as a brand. Now when it comes to how to start with Instagram, how to put out content. So usually what we do is, when we strategize content for any brand, be it an e-commerce business or a personal brand or any service based business, what we usually do is we create a no like trust funnel. A no like trust funnel no
No,
like
like
trust
trust
funnel
funnel. Okay.
Yeah, a no like trust funnel is simply, you need, you want the customer to pass through these 3 phases. First, the customer would just know you, actually who that xyzcart.com is. Next, after a point of time, they'll start liking what you're doing. Maybe they like your products, maybe they'll like the content that you're sharing, maybe they'll just like the vision that you're sharing. And then there comes a point of time with your content only, that liking becomes into a trust. Now I'll talk more about all these 3 phases, but these are pretty much the 3 phases that helps a that helps just a normal visitor on your Instagram profile convert into a maybe a loyal customer, or maybe a part of your brand equity. Now how that happens is, you need to segregate your content in different formats of content. Now different formats of content could be a post, maybe a reel, maybe a video, maybe a carousel post. Now these are just the formats of content, but under these formats of content we can have multiple content buckets. Now when I say no funnel is where you want people to know more about you. Let's say you have 10 different kinds of design categories on your website, wherein, let's say, you talk about fathers as well, you talk about birthdays as well, you talk about fitness as well. Take a particular category, start creating content on that. Let's say uh, let's say Father's Day is coming in the next 10 days. So what I'll do is, at this point of time, I'll start talking about fathers. I'll start talking about the importance of fathers. Maybe posts like that'll sort of hit that emotion of the person. Now once I have the traffic, and integrating my brand to it, how do we believe in this entire concept? Now we're telling people about our brand with the help of a, maybe an event.
Event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or maybe an emotion. That is where we tell people that, yeah, that this particular brand talks about fathers maybe. And when it comes to formats of content, maybe a post can be created out of it, maybe a reel can be created out of it. Like that's a separate, altogether a separate thing. But once people know that these people sell t-shirts who have like father designs on them, now they just know, like when it comes to creatives, you can post maybe an upcoming collection, maybe some designs which are not yet live on your website. You just post them, and you just write coming soon, things like that, so that people know that they're a t-shirt brand. They are a brand who sells stuff about fathers. Now people are knowing you. People won't go through this no like trust funnel in just these 10 days. I'm just giving an example. Now once that person maybe follows you, or that person knows more about your brand, you start posting more content on similar lines. Now you're not just posting about what you do as a t-shirt seller. You're posting more about that particular niche. Maybe the kind of content could be people wearing like people actually wearing your clothes, let's say. So a reel could be created out of it, and it's not necessary that actual uh, actual customers picture should be there. You can just use tools like placeit.com, all those kind of things, so
Yeah.
that it creates a visual image that people are actually buying this stuff. And that creates a sort of a, liking is similar to, in the first instance no one will like you, people just know about you. But even if I don't like you in the first instance now, but if I'm seeing you 10 times, like unless until I'm hating you, I'll like you. I'll start liking you. I'll start liking the psychology. I'll start liking the vision you have. Because if you're doing something right, it's very difficult for someone to like someone in the first instance. Usually when it comes to businesses, and when it comes to things like these, it takes multiple efforts. Now once multiple efforts are put in, the customer is in the like phase. The customer would be that funnel would take him to the trust phase, when we share the stories of our customers. Maybe let's say during Father's Day, we post a picture from our brand's page that this particular kid gifted this t-shirt to his father, and there's a 3-4 line story attached to it. There's an emotion attached to it. We've tagged that particular person as well. All of this thing creates a lot of trust. So these are just different formats of content as to how we can go through the know, like, and trust funnel. We can tell people about our brand. We can tell them about the offers. Tell them about the customer testimonials that we usually have. Tell them about the things that we usually believe in. All of that with the help of content, and that is how we build a brand in the long term.
That's pretty nice. So, talking about, building this pretty interesting no like trust funnel and building a brand. We also spoke about Father's Day, the events coming up. This reminds me of asking you that, just going a little bit on the side, that what's your story? You started Winner Media 2.5 years back, and before that you were doing network marketing, and I know you're a chartered accountant. So what's your story? Where did all of this start for you? Really, really excited to hear that.
Okay, so um, I was doing, like, after I did with all those network marketing things, I was doing chartered accountancy. I was working in a reputed MNC, where, like, we were as article trainees. We had to undergo a three year of a training program. During those 3 years of training programs, during I was studying for my chartered accountancy exams, I realized that probably this is not the thing I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't really know what I want to do, but I was pretty sure that ये नहीं करना है. Because how I was measuring it was, because let's say if I stay here, if I stay in this field, what is the next possible quantifiable measure of success I can have from here? And I just used to see the lives of people who are already in those industry, and I just figured that out, that probably this is not the thing for me. And although I've invested 5-6 years of my life in this entire thing, but if I go forward with this, I'll probably be investing 30-40 more years to this thing that I'll not like. And just thought that I'm still in my 20s, I can take risks, and I just don't want to regret when I'm 35, 40, 50 years old that probably I didn't do this. So that is why I just completed my chartered accountancy, and just thought of taking a shift trying new things, trying different things, and seeing as to what works for me. Because I was ready at that point of time to take a risk. Probably 3 4 years down the line, I might not be ready. I was 24, 25, 24 years old when I took the plunge. And yeah, that is when I started experimenting new things. That is when I acquainted with you as well. We started e-commerce,
Mm-hmm.
tried a couple of other things as well. E-commerce was one thing that worked really well for me. At the same time, I began, I sort of realized that I have a special interest in social media. I started analyzing content creators. I started, understanding the psychology of people on social media, how people are commenting, what are the things people are talking about. And that is when I realized that I figured things out as to what runs on social media, how the entire content game works. And that is when I thought that let's start something. So in the beginning, I started serving clients to grow them on social media, uh, like to help them achieve different objectives. And that is where Winner Media started. Earlier, I just started by myself. 2.5 years back, I started working with freelancers, then started building a team, and that is how it's going.
That's very nice. So tell me something. You just mentioned that you were 24 when you took the plunge, right? So 24 is the age where everything's so. I mean, it's such a pressure based situation wherein you became a CA. So you became a CA, right? You did not drop
Yeah,
out.
yeah, 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 yeah. I became a CA.
And so you became a CA, like it's a degree that it's a qualification that people dream for. Or let's say I have so many CA friends out there, and so many people are not even able to get there even after investing so many years. You gave up CA, then you gave up a very good job in one of the biggest of the most one of the most reputed companies here in India. You must have had family pressure. You must have had thoughts like, what if this is not able to work? What am I going to do? I'm 24. My friends are making money. My friends are doing jobs. So, how did you deal with that? Because a lot of people, I'm sure, reach such stages in life or such situations, such crossroads, wherein they're not able to take a plunge. So, how were things back then? Like, if we get back to that day, wherein you took this decision that, dude, I'm done. Tell me more about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So back then, I was waiting for my results. I was waiting for my
Mm,
CA final results, and I had already started working on a business idea with a couple of my other
mm,
friends. And
mm,
we had just thought that they were these three friends. We just thought that even if two of us, qualify for the CA finals, we'll leave CA finals and we'll work on this idea. And if only one goes ahead, like only one person passes, then we'll drop the idea. And out of those three friends, I was the only one who passed that attempt. And since I like, although I had qualified for like being a chartered accountant, I cried that day because I
mm,
was like, the other two people, they're not yet qualified, so we'll not be able to work on the idea. And I was pretty clear that I don't want to go for another job and work in this in the same field. So the only thing that pushed me was, at that point of time, I was really reluctant on starting out new things. I really had this fear of starting new things, of
mm,
getting into new things, getting into new ideas, thinking of new ideas, thinking that I can even do, because all of that is out of your comfort zone, right? You only do the things that you're really comfortable about, you're really confident about. So all the other things were really uncomfortable for me, and that used to scare me a lot. Like in a lot of situations, whenever I got opportunity of doing new things during the time I was
mm,
working as well, in the company, I didn't take up those opportunities because I was like, no, this is way out of my zone. I don't really want to put the effort. And that
mm,
thing sort of always used to scare me a lot, that I can't live with this long term. Second was, again, like I shared, I didn't really want to regret. I was still I thought, even if I waste the next 2 years of my life, I still have a degree, I can go back to a job. Maybe the job would be a bit low paying job because I have a 2 years gap, but I still have my things secure because I have a very reputed degree backed. And that
mm,
is why I completed accountancy. And then
mm,
I just thought, let's test things, because now I have something. I have a very strong backup. Now, even now, if I don't test things, and I'll just keep regretting all this my life.
mm.
So yeah,
Correct.
but that touchwood turned out really well, because at this point of time, I don't really have any fear. I know things can go wrong, things can go haywire. Anything can go wrong since you're running a business. But the only thing I'm sure about is I'll figure things out. Be it like maybe it'll take some time, but I'll figure things out. If I have to start something new, I'll do that, because I've tried two, three different things, and I'm really happy about that. So anyone who's out there, anyone who really wants to, who is in a situation, who thinks that they really want to switch things, they're afraid that they should start or not. The only thing that one should do is experiment and
Mm,
try. You don't really need to leave the current thing you're doing. You still have the time to, you still have those extra 1 or 2 hours to put an experiment those things. And once you experiment those things, you know, yeah, that is it actually for me or not. If it's
mm.
not for you, probably you'll sit back and do the thing that you're currently doing. And if you're not, you know probably you'll jump off on a new thing or something like that. So I guess experimentation is the key here.
That's nice. Yeah, I can. There's this reminds me of the days back then when I became an engineer. My engineering was complete. The result was out, and we had two jobs in our hands from two of the biggest IT companies in the country. We gave up on them. We did not show up in the induction or whatever they call you for the introduction in the company and sorts. And we started the company, and so yeah, like though they're not easy decisions for like, and trust me, so many people are not even able to do them. Very recently, a couple weeks back, there was somebody who messaged me that I'm preparing for my CA, or I don't know, she either that this person was preparing for it or she was already a CA, and she had this problem that I'm scared, I don't want to be a CA, I want to do something else, I love writing, I want to write a book and sorts, but my family does not want me to do that. So if you're listening, because this person, I know she listens to the podcast, this is, and I told her about you back then through a voice message, that there's a friend of mine who's faced something similar, and yeah, it's definitely possible to do that. Now, yeah, coming back to Winner Media. uh, I was, we know that through the work that you guys have done, Winner Media has been responsible of doing what, more than $20 million, oh sorry, 20 million rupees in sales
Yeah,
for your clients, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic. So like 20 million, that's what, two, I
Crores.
mean, what, 2 crores, okay, 2 crore rupees, just directly through social media.
Yeah, directly through social media.
That's crazy, and this does not include what you've done on your stores and that, like, that's separate, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. So that's so good. What do you think are the top things that actually make that are responsible for making a brand successful with social media marketing? We've been talking about the t-shirt business, right? And we spoke about you shared this really interesting funnel. No, like, trust, yeah, no, like, trust, that's fine. But what are the top things that are responsible for the success of a brand, let's say financially, long term? So what are, let's say, the top 3 things according to you?
Okay, so when it comes to building a brand takes a lot of money. Either it'll take a lot of time or it'll take a lot of money. Either of these two things. If you become the face of your brand, it'll take lesser amount of money, because now you have a face. The problem with brands is they don't really have a face. Majority of the brands, they are just graphics. When I say it comes to social media, they're just graphics and ideology, mixed together. Now, if you are someone who can be the face of the brand, it will take less money for you, because now the brand has a voice with which it can directly communicate with people, and people communicating with random animation videos, creatives, ideologies, it's difficult than if you become the face of the brand. Now,
Correct.
in a lot of situations, people are not ready to become a face of the brand, because we have our brands in countries like US, UK, and a lot of people don't think that we, being an Indian, can build that level of trust. I think we actually can. But even if for situations like, because everyone can't be a face of the brand, It's not necessary for a founder of the company to be a face of the brand. You can hire someone.
Mm.
People actually do that. You can hire someone to be the face of the brand, to spread that ideologies further. But even if you're not able to, not choosing a specific person to be a face of the brand, because brands like Zara, Coca-Cola, Amazon also, although has a brand, has a face to the brand in the form of Jeff Bezos, but
Mm.
it's not the branding that he has built. It is the, probably I'll say the uh, the market valuation he has,
Correct.
or the probably the kind of thoughts he shares. Those are
Mm.
different things. Amazon is different, Jeff Bezos is different. People connect them because he's the founder. But a lot of people don't really have a face to the brand. Now, when they don't have a face to the brand, it requires a lot of money to
Mm.
invest in, because people when they're starting business, they're expecting returns. They're expecting कि मैं X amount लगाऊंगा मुझे 4x मिलेगा. The money that is spent in brand awareness won't give you money in on the front end.
Mm.
The money that you spend to create content, the money that you spend to create brand awareness ads, all of those things don't give you money on the front end. Those are the things that give you equity over a long period of time. And equity, like I'll just tell you what is the real meaning of equity. Equity is never diluted. When equity gets diluted, its value gets lower. Let's say when I'm diluting equity, I'm just straightforward converting it into cash. Now, before an equity gets diluted, we need to build that equity. We need to build that status of the brand so that it starts paying us in the back end. Now, when I say paying us in in the back end, when you realize after let's say a year of going into branding, doing brand marketing and performance marketing on the same. Performance
Mm.
marketing is running ads. Brand marketing is telling people about the brand, doing brand awareness. When you start doing that, 20-30% of brand awareness, 70-80% of performance marketing. This performance marketing is giving you a lot of sales, is giving you numbers, is giving you profitability. This is a limited budget that you've decided कि यार मैं अगले 1 साल तक ये पैसा खर्च करूंगा.
Mm.
After a year, what you'll see is इसके results better हो जाएंगे. The results that you'll get from the conversions that you'll get from your ads will start getting better now, because now people already know about the brand. Let's say earlier there were 10 people seeing your ads and 2 of them were purchasing. Probably now 10 people who are seeing your ad already know about your brand. So probably
Mm.
4 of them would purchase. Probably 5 of them would purchase. Probably a lot of people won't just, I'll just give you a classic example of a brand. Let's say you build a brand, and there's one customer who's passed through that know, like, and trust funnel, and he is so much, uh, he loves your brand so much that he talks about you to his friends. When he's wearing that t-shirt, or he's using that product, or he's doing anything, a lot of, like, if you just analyze, a lot of conversations we have in a day in and day out basis are recommendations. These are
Yes.
usually recommendations of either people, things, products, services that we usually use or we see. A lot of times it's the investments we do. A lot of time it's the uh, person we had a talk with, a YouTube video that we listen to, and
Yeah,
those
we
things.
learned that in network
Network
marketing as well,
marketing.
right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
all
yeah.
these products that you sell, recommendations, word of mouth. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And
Wow.
this is as simple as that. So let's say I bought this. Last week I bought this MacBook.
Mm.
I talked about this MacBook to a minimum of 10 people, and this is
Mm.
only because I love the product. And Apple is a reputed product. We already know what the product, and that is where a person who is talking to his friends about your product is the brand equity you're creating. Those 10 people haven't seen your ads yet, but they know about your product. Maybe they'll directly purchase from your website. Now when you'll see people searching your name on Google and coming to a website and buying something, that is the brand equity you're creating. You don't have a customer acquisition cost at that point of time, but the customer acquisition cost was maybe in the money you spent in branding, maybe the money you spent in uh, putting your ideology out on your social media.
Mm.
That is the thing.
Okay. So what you're trying to say is, if we quantify this into three things, the very first thing is that brand equity is something that takes time, and you wanna it's a long term thing. We need to understand that. Two, if we have a face to the brand, which is definitely possible, and I think it's a conscious choice. Maybe some people are comfortable, doing that. Like I know so many t-shirt stores that have faces. I mean, there are like these owners, they wear their t-shirts and they promote it on their Instagram pages. The other day we were also talking about some names, right? So like if you have those names, let's just share that with the community in a minute. So yeah, anyway, that's one. That it's long term too. We've speaking about, if it has a face, great, it's going to take less time, and it's a conscious choice if you guys listening to this, if you guys want to be doing this or not. If you don't want to be doing it, no problem, it's going to take more time, right? It's going to be taking more time, and you definitely want to be investing money. You will be investing money here, because it's a long term thing. You won't be able to see monetary positive ROI, within a couple of hours or within a couple of days. It's a long term game. And trust me, I always say this to the community, that guys, if you really want to get into business, see the long term picture, because business में ऐसा नहीं होता overnight you become a success. नहीं होता ऐसा. It takes years and years to get really successful with this, and you're gonna get successful when you start serving people. So that's two. And what about point number three? Am I missing something? What about point three? Let's say that the third biggest thing that you feel, defines or determines the success of a brand on social media.
Actually, the third thing would be just a little bit of a combination only. If people are
Hmm.
talking about you, I guess you're
Hmm.
successful.
Yeah.
When you're not running ads for those things, but you see people tagging you in them, in their
Yeah.
pictures, using our products, or maybe let's say, like just talking to people, like on an offline level, on a personal level, they're talking on social media as well, they're tagging you in your stories. Those are just the metrics that help you define that we're doing actually something good. Probably those are customers who bought products from your Facebook ads only. But what, there's something that sort of push them to put that out on social media, because usually social media is used to flaunt things, and if people are flaunting your brand, I'm sure you're doing something good.
Correct. So yeah, let's call this giving a customer such a great experience, and
Yeah.
let's say such a great service that they start talking about you amongst each other. And this reminds me, we were talking about Amazon when we started the conversation, right? So I ordered a vest from Amazon yesterday. I got the order today, and I was like, great. So of course, Amazon is a brand. I ordered it like yesterday evening and got it today afternoon. That's fine. Now, when I opened the packet, the product was not actually. I mean, the brand was not actually what I ordered. It was a different brand, and so I ordered something which was way more expensive, and this one was cheap in terms of price, and that's not what I signed up for. So I went to Amazon. I went to the support wala option that they have, and I clicked on the return option. Then they redirected me to a call. They were like, "Do you want to chat with someone?" I clicked on it, got on a call with a customer support executive from India, and this person said to me that, okay sir, like the conclusion was that this was a non-returnable item. It's been a mistake from the seller, so you please keep this product, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new order, and I'm going to I'm going to send you the right product as well. I was like, wow. So this product that I received, it's not bad. In fact, I'm just wearing it, I'm still using it. It's not bad, but and they're going to be sending me what I wanted as well. So that's an extra cost to the company, but they're doing that. So yeah, I think that's what you mean here. That and you see, I'm actually sharing this with you right now, and so many people are going to be listening to this. There's another brand that I love, and I've spoken about that with my audience over and over again. It's a t-shirt brand here in India. So yes, I totally agree to that. So that's pretty good. Now coming back to Instagram, we spoke about what kind of posts we should be making, what kind of things we should be talking about, having a face, not having a face. That's fine. Now, how does someone grow their Instagram presence? A lot of times, by growth, people feel that followers बढ़ा लेते हैं. Let's just increase followers, so people buy followers and stuff. So, what is your process of growing your reach on Instagram? Let's say someone who's just starting out. Yes, they can ask their customers to follow them, but let's say someone the startup, they don't even have a lot of customers right now. So, what do they do? Like, what is your action plan for that?
Okay, so organic growth on Instagram has become really less in the past 6 months, 8 months, almost more than a year. The organic growth
Mm-hmm.
has been really low. But formats of content like reels, which are actually picking up. and are actually giving people traffic, people attention. We are living in an attention economy where attention is what everyone is seeking, every brand is seeking. And reels are something which are having a really great attention span at this point of time, because, and probably in a couple of more months, iski bhi jo organic reach hai, it'll be
Come
down,
again.
because uh, a lot of new creators are coming out, a lot of people are creating content. So obviously there's a competition. But knowing what is working for other people, modeling that, and doing for you, doing the same thing for you, will give you a set, a limited, a limited amount of growth on Instagram. Things like using locations in your posts, things like using the right hashtags in your posts, things like posting the right kind of content, probably shifting more to reels as a brand, posting more informative reels as a brand. So I'll just give you an example. Let's say you're a t-shirt brand, and what you do is you need to create content, you need to create informative content for your audience. What you do is, probably you'll find a micro influencer who will not be charging much money with you, like much money from you. Probably the person has 1,200, like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 followers. It doesn't matter to the number of followers that person actually has, but you see that on their profile they can create good videos. You send them a set of three t-shirts that will cost you, let's say a t-shirt costs you $5 or $10. It will cost you 25 or $30 to probably send them a t-shirt, and
Correct.
send them two or three t-shirts, and you ask them to maybe create a reel on three different ways how you can wear your t-shirts, styling ways, probably, or probably trend formats. Like you must have seen a lot of people changing clothes just in a second, doing something like that. Those are the kind of things how you can create content, get visibility, because now that is good performing content for a lot of people. We post that content, we get attention, we get that reach, and that is how we usually grow organically. Now, since Instagram has become a platform where organic reach is sort of becoming very very low when it compare, like as compared to 2, 3, 4 years ago, the option of traffic are again two options of traffic. Either they are Instagram and Facebook ads, creating brand campaigns, brand awareness campaigns, brand reach campaigns, where we tell more about our brand to the people. People come to our page, follow us, look through our content, become a part of the community. Another way that we usually do is through influencer marketing. Now, influencer marketing is not as laser targeted marketing as Facebook ads. Obviously, we can definitely target the right audience with the help of the demographics a particular influencer has. But now it has become a, you know uh, instead of a laser targeted audience, a trust targeted audience. Because let's say a micro influencer or a nano influencer, a person who's having, let's say, 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 15,000 followers, he has a community. And if he is using a particular set of product, he's posting it out. His audience already has a trust, a certain level of trust in that particular person. Now, if you make that particular person as the brand ambassador of your brand, those that particular audience would tend to have more trust in you, because they already have a certain level of trust in that person. And that is why influencer marketing also works. And that is how you can drive that person's traffic, and just show the audience the thing that you're actually doing on your page. That is how usually we grow brands when it comes to Instagram. These are the two three ways.
So to encapsulate that, one, first, people should definitely be creating content. That's one. Two, we spoke about,
Again,
let's say,
like when it comes to content with consistency. Like we've talked about this in the past 2 years. We've done this practically with you as well. The only way we've been getting organic reach is because of the consistent content we usually put out. Like, and that works for every brand. Because when the customers think, when your people think that, this is, there's someone real sitting behind this particular page, and they're doing something real, and they're doing it every day, probably in a day, or probably every other alternative day. It gives a sense that your brand is alive.
got it.
So yeah.
Makes sense. So yeah, one's gonna be content with consistency. That's one. Two, we spoke about, and you know, in this content we could actually just have value related stuff, and then we could also eventually add our products and links to the products and stories and descriptions. That's fine. Two is gonna be, you mentioned having brand ambassadors like micro influencers. You know, wherein we could send our products to these people and they can wear it and send us traffic. That's fine. So when it comes to influencer marketing, how do you approach that? Like, what kind of things can people be doing to find influencers? One, and let's say, you know, how should people with less budgets or people on a budget, or let's say people who have good budgets, how do they really approach finding influencers, going through their metrics, and how do they identify if this influencer is any good and he's not faking his engagement or faking his followers? And I mean, how does that process work?
Okay. So, for someone who has a good amount of budget, there are tools like Hype Auditor, multiple such tools which will help you identify the right influencers. You can
Mhm.
simply, they have these beautiful categories. Like, let's say you have a particular niche, you have a fitness niche, you want to search influencers over in the fitness niche. You choose that
Mhm.
particular category. Now you choose the age group you want to target to. You choose the country you're targeting to. So that sort of filters down the influencers you actually should be targeting. It gives you a list of influencers. You start reaching out to them. Now the kind of influencers that they'll give you would be macro influencers, people who are having followers over 50,000, 100,000,
Mhm.
or a million followers. that'll
Mhm.
that'll cost you a good amount of money. So if you're willing to spend that good amount of money, that's awesome. That is the approach you should be taking. But if you're on a low budget, if you still try influencer marketing, uh you know search for people who are just like you and me. Let's say you have an ideal image in mind of the person who'll be wearing your product. Let's say
Right.
your design talks about someone who is probably a female in the age group of, let's say, 20 to 30. Now what you will search is, you'll search out for women who have an active women centric audience,
Mhm.
and women like who's in the age group of 20 to 30, maybe. Now you'll reach out to them, you'll ask for their demographics, and that is how you'll understand that whether particular person fits your category or not. Once that person fits your category, try searching for people who are under 3,000 followers, 4,000 followers, because these are the people who'll be ready for a barter collaboration a lot of times. If you just send them the products, a lot of them would be ready for that. Even if they're not ready for that, they'll not charge much, probably $10, $20, $30, $40 at the max, and they'll be
Mhm.
willing to do a collaboration for you. And now consider people who are actually having just 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 followers. Those aren't the followers like that they built. Those are probably
Mhm.
the people that they already know. Some acquaintances, some people that they know from school, college, work, acquaintances of acquaintances, and probably some people who they've discovered on social media. So those will be the people who actually have a certain level of trust in this particular person, because now this person is not an influencer. They know that this person, if this person is posting something, it's not a brand collaboration. A lot of times people don't really know that even if it's a brand collaboration or not. Now that goes like an organic post, that goes pretty organic. If I have, let's say, 1,500, 1,600 people who are following me, I personally know 800 of them. And like, all those people are either from my school, or either they've had a conversation with me on the internet, on social media. Like, we're just not random people who are following each other. So people who have a small set of audiences usually have a higher trust level. And if you're able to identify through the demographics that, yeah, this particular audience has your ideal audience you want to target to, collaborate with those people, send them your products, ask them to whether
Mhm.
wear your products, or use your products, and give you a shout out in your stories, or probably do a reel, like just the way I shared with you. And that is how sort of people would start buying your stuff, because they have a certain level of trust instilled in that particular nano influencer.
Beautiful. So you mentioned nano influencer, you also mentioned micro influencer. So like, how do you categorize them?
Okay, so usually, there are different categories, different terms attached to these particular things. For me, nano influencers are people who are under the category of 5, 7, 8,000 followers. People who are not really influencers,
Hmm.
but they are probably on the path of becoming influencers, but they have a small audience who's actually, a very a kind of an audience who trust the influencer, who trust the nano
Hmm.
influencer. So like
Hmm.
that is the like that category I call nano. Now the category who are like more than 10,000 followers up till 50,000 followers or 80,000 followers, those are the category of people who are micro influencers, because they'll charge you a certain set of money. Like
Hmm.
once you reach, once you cross these level of people who are in under, in the category of 10,000 to 70, 80,000 followers, the kind of price they charge, they ask for you, that skyrockets. But
Hmm.
again, the kind of results also skyrockets if they have a really niche audience. Let's say if there's a fitness expert, because people only grow usually when they're in a niche on platforms like Instagram. So if a person is having 100,000 followers, most chances are that the person would be probably an expert in a niche. Probably that person would be posting content around one particular niche only. And if the person is, let's say, posting content around fitness, the person is all about fitness. We choose that influencer, and if we sort of sell a fitness product through that influencer, the chances are that a lot of people would be buying that, because a lot of people are actually consuming fitness content from him. They know that this person is legit very good at fitness. We're following him, we're following the tips and tricks he shares with us. We follow his daily lifestyle, and if something gets added up to this person's lifestyle, it's a big trust for them. Yeah, we should definitely go forward and probably, even if not purchase, go to the website, go to the product. Now what we usually can do here is that helps us to even run remarketing ads for those audiences,
Yes.
because
Yes.
now the brand knows that कि हाँ यार, मैंने इसके बारे में कहीं तो सुना था, maybe this influencer talked about this. Now that is a different level of trust
Hmm.
that you're building with the audience. So yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. So when it comes to the approach with this, what people could do is, one, they want to niche down. So they first want to pick a niche. Let's say they want to be selling the products in. Let's say you spoke about fitness. So what people could do is they could go to Instagram and search for fitness or fitness motivation kind of hashtags or keywords. Then they want to start going through these profiles. They when people are starting out and let's say they're on a low budget, what they could do is they could start reaching out to these people. First, they're going to go through the content. They're going to see that how many likes a person's getting, how many, what kind of comments, what kind of engagement the person's getting. Do they like the person? Do they feel that this person's audience would be interested in wearing what you want to sell or using what you want to sell? वो idea लग जाता है. After going through the content, you're gonna have a good idea of it. Then you reach out to the person, and either you do a barter collaboration wherein you tell them that this is who I am, this is what I do, and it's simple. The format is simple. This is who I am, this is what I do, and this is what I have to offer. So when you make an offer, you simply say to them that I could send you these products for free. They actually cost this much, and in return, let's say what you could in exchange, what you could do is you could just recommend my product, or just share your review on your story or on your profile, tagging me. Or in a lot of cases, people could also offer affiliate commissions in that case, that I'm going to give you a part of the sales if you want. Or people could, if they have a good budget, they could actually reach out to micro influencers, like you said, and talk to them. Ask them about how much do they charge and what kind of traffic, what kind of views we can expect based on their past results, and then just test it out. And if I'm not wrong, even with Instagram, it's all about testing, right? I mean, there is no guarantee that this stuff is going to work for us. So it's all going to be about testing. But 100%, the more you test, the better you understand the kind of influencers that are going to work for you. Idea lag jata hai. And then when you're going to be doing it next time, you're going to know what kind of people you want to be working with. Maybe you could repeat some campaigns. Maybe you could get ideas from their community. And you mentioned retargeting, which is so nice, because Now these people who came to your store through that influencer, you're going to have their data on your pixel, let's say on Facebook or Google, and you can actually remarket to these people, create lookalike audiences, and sell to these people over and over again. So that's a pretty beautiful approach. That's pretty nice. And you mentioned the tool Hype Auditor, but I don't think so. It's like mandatory for people to use tools here. They could simply just
Yeah,
use this process, right, wherein they manually go through all the stuff.
yeah. If you're starting out, I'll highly recommend you to only do it manually, because when you do it manually, like Nishkash mentioned, uh, you go through the comments, you go through the kind of audience that particular person has built, and all these things, those tools like Hype Auditors, they give you some certain matrices as to what is the quality of audience. But if you're actually going out and testing and putting in your money, I'd recommend you to do it manually.
Awesome. That's nice. Okay. I think Aman, it's been pretty valuable. Thank you so much for being on the episode. It's been pretty good. Now, before we sign off, and before we share this with the community, uh, like what is it? What is that one advice that you'd like to give to people who are just starting out with their companies, with their entrepreneurship journeys, e-commerce businesses, whatever it is? What is that one advice that you'd like to share with everybody?
Again, the same thing that I talked in the beginning. Think of it as a brand, not as a business. That is the only thing. Even if you start investing 1/10 of the amount, or 1/20th of the amount you're investing in your Facebook ads, in your performance marketing campaigns, invest at least a 10% of them in your branding. Now that could be as simple as running a brand awareness ad. That could be as simple as probably hiring someone to craft a brand story for you. That could be as simple as doing a certain things on your website that probably enhances the customer's confidence in the brand. As simple as starting a nurture sequence, an email marketing sequence that helps people know more about your brand rather than selling. So all these kind of things, as simple as as low as starting a small influencer collaboration, all of these things adds up to build your brand equity for the long term. So just think of it from a brand perspective. Now once you think of it from a brand perspective, now you get out of that zone of that इसमें मेरा इतना margin है, इसमें
Hmm.
मेरा इतना profit and loss है. Obviously you do that once you're profitable. You start doing this from the level you're profitable, but have that mentality from the first day, that you're not here just to make a quick buck, because there are a lot of ways you can make quick bucks. And e-commerce is a great way to build a good amount of money. Now if you're having money, if you're having profits, if you're running such a wonderful business, obviously it's happy. Like it's great that you don't be greedy and take all that money home. Reinvest a few in that business again, reinvest a few to build a brand again. Yeah, that is the only advice I'll have for people.
That's pretty good advice. That's pretty nice. There's so much that I've learned through this as well. There are so many things that although we talk almost every other day, but still, there's so much that I've learned through this. Thank you so much, Aman, for doing this. It's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Now, what I'm going to do is below the episode in the description, I'm going to add link to Winner Media. So if someone wants to reach out to you, if someone wants to talk to you about their business or a brand that they need help with or anything of that sort, people, you guys can reach out to Aman. I'm going to mention the details below the podcast in the episode description. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Aman, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. And that's it. Thank you so much, brother. Cheers. I'm sure everyone's going to love it.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a pleasure being on the podcast.
All right, brother.
All right, cheers.